Body growth. 4.1. Describe major changes in body growth over the first 2 years. The next time you're walking in your neighborhood park or at the mall, note the contrast between infants' and toddlers' physical capabilities. One reason for the vast changes in what children can do over the first 2 years is that their bodies change enormously, faster than any other time after birth. Changes in body size and muscle fat makeup. By the end of the first year, a typical infant's height is about 32 inches, more than 50% greater than at birth. By 2 years, this is 75% greater, 36 inches. Similarly, by 5 months of age, birth weight has doubled to about 15 pounds. At 1 year, it has tripled to 22 pounds, and at 2 years, it has quadrupled to about 30 pounds. Figure 4.1 illustrates this dramatic increase in body size, but rather than making steady gains, infants and toddlers grow in little spurts. In one study, children who were followed over the first 21 months of life were for periods of 7 to 63 days with no growth, then added as much as half an inch in a 24-hour period. Always, parents describe their babies as irritable, very hungry, and sleeping more on the days before the spurt. One of the most obvious changes in infants' appearance is their transformation into round, plump babies by the middle of the first years. This early rise in baby fat, which peaks at about 9 months, helps the small infant maintain a constant body temperature. In the second year, most toddlers slim down, a trend that continues into middle childhood. In contrast, muscle tissue increases very slowly during infancy and will not reach a peak until adolescence. Babies are not very muscular. Their strength and physical coordination are limited. Changes in body proportions. As a child's overall size increases, different parts of the body grow at different rates. 2 growth patterns describe these changes. The first is the CAPHALOCAUDAL trend, from the Latin word for head to tail. During the prenatal period, the head develops more rapidly than the lower part of the body. At birth, the head takes up 1/4 of total body length, the legs only 1/3. Notice how, in figure 4.1, the lower portion of the body catches up. By age 2, the head accounts for only 1/5 and the legs for nearly 1/2 of total body length. In the second pattern, the PROXIMODISTAL trend, growth proceeds, literally from near to far, from the center of the body outward. In the prenatal period, the head, chest and trunk grow first, then the arms and legs, and finally the hands and feet. During infancy and childhood, the arms and legs continue to grow somewhat ahead of the hands and feet. Individual and group differences. In infancy, girls are slightly shorter and lighter than boys, with a higher ratio of fat to muscle. These small sex differences persist throughout early and middle childhood and are greatly magnified at adolescence. Ethnic differences in body size are apparent as well. Grace was below the growth norms, height and weight averages for children her age. Early malnutrition contributed, but even after substantial catch-up, Grace, as is typical for Asian children, remained below North American norms. In contrast, Timmy is slightly above average, as African American children tend to be. Children of the same age differ in rate of physical growth. Some make faster progress toward a mature body size than others. But current body size is not enough to tell us how quickly a child's physical growth is moving along. Although Timmy is larger and heavier than Caitlin and Grace, he is not physically more mature. In a moment you will see why. The best estimate of a child's physical maturity is skeletal age, a measure of bone development. It is determined by X-raying the long bones of the body to see the extent to which soft, pliable cartilage has hardened into bone, a gradual process that is completed in adolescence. When skeletal ages are examined, African American children tend to be slightly ahead of European American children, and girls are considerably ahead of boys. At birth, the sexes differ by about 4 to 6 weeks, a gap that widens over infancy and childhood. Girls are advanced in development of other organs as well. This greater physical maturity may contribute to girls' greater resistance to harmful environmental influences. As noted in Chapter 2, girls experience fewer developmental problems than boys and have lower infant and childhood mortality rates.